everyone, welcome back to the Beginner Flow series. Today's class we are opening our hearts to the practice. So when you're ready, meet me on your mats. You don't need any props. Okay, we're starting in a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Palms facing up this time. We've been doing palm facing down to ground our energy. Now that we are familiar with the flow, let's draw in some extra energy to pump us through the practice. So rest your back of your hands on top of your knees or your thighs. If you haven't already done so, close your eyes, lengthen through the spine up to the crown of your head. Relax the shoulders. And let's check in with our breathing. Notice the quality of your breath here. Are your inhales cutting short? Are your exhales cutting short? Let's try to make them long and strong. So deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out the mouth. Really set that intention to connect to your breathing here. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out the mouth. Now that we've established that connection to our breath, notice how your body is feeling in space right here. Send a little love to the extra areas that are feeling a little tired, lazy, or just overwhelmed. And then send some gratitude to the areas of the body that are feeling strong and that helped you get out of bed today. And now notice where your mind is wandering. If you are distracted by any sound surrounding you or distracted by any to-do list that you have to get to, I invite you to let that all go for this practice and just fully connect to the mind and body movements of your yoga flow. Take a deep breath in through the nose and deep breath out the mouth. One more intentional breathing exercise. Deep breath in and deep breath out the mouth. Let it all go. Open your eyes and come back into the room. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers, so you see. Extend the arms so you're reaching through the knuckles, and then rebend the elbows and rest your fists on the right side of your rib cage. Once you have this placement, squeeze the elbows towards one another as you lift your chest up towards the sky. And then on doing that, passing through center over to the left side of the rib cage. Same thing, squeeze the elbows together, lengthen through the spine. And come back to center. Extend the arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Your hands are in line with your shoulders. Then rotate the palms down, rotate them up, rotate them down, rotate them up. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Then extend the shoulders back out, hands back out. Bring the fingertips to your shoulders, extend the hands back out. One more time, bring them to your shoulders, keep them here, and then draw circles with your elbows like this. Bringing the elbows up towards the ceiling, and then having them meet in front of you, circling them back down. That's one full circle. Let's do two more. Circling them down, last one, meeting in the center, circling them down. Then reverse, go down first, bring the elbows up and out. Bring the elbows up and out. Last one, up and out. Awesome. Take your arms up overhead, bend the right elbow, take your left hand onto that right elbow and press it down. Sorry, my hair is in the way, so that's why my arms are so far out, but you want to keep your arms close to your head. And you're pressing this right elbow down and you're lifting your head here, so you're not trying to scrunch. You want to find length in that neck. And then gently release, switching, bending the left elbow, pressing the right hand down on that left elbow, and lifting your chest here so you can breathe. And then gently release, shake it out. Meet me in tabletop position. Hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. And you want to make sure that you're not dumping into the wrists. You want to protect your wrists, so lean your weight forward until you find that happy spot on your hands where your hands are like the weight of your body is evenly distributed onto your hands. Cat-cow breathing here. Inhale, arch your back, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round the back, push the mat away. Inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, round, push the ground away. Come to a flat back, neutral spine. Lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. Look up at that right hand. Your chest is opening up to the right side. And as you exhale, slide this right arm behind the left wrist, so your right shoulder comes down, your right temple comes down. Back of your right hand is pressing into the mat or onto the ground if it's off of the mat. And you can stay here or pop up onto left fingertips like you have a tennis ball underneath the left hand. And if you're still comfortable, extend the left arm up towards the ceiling. And if you're still comfortable, flip the palm, bend at the elbow, and look for that right hip crease. Once you have this bind, roll that left shoulder back so it stacks over the right just a little more. We call this thread the needle. And then extend that left arm back up towards the ceiling if you have the bind. Lower the hand down, straighten up, coming back into tabletop position. Other side, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, look up at that left hand, and then slide this arm behind the right wrist, lowering your left shoulder. Back of your left hand is on the mat. Pop up onto right fingertips like you have a tennis ball under your hand, and then extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. If you're comfortable, flip the palm, bend at the elbow, look for that left hip crease, rolling that shoulder back. And then gently release the bind, lower the hand down to the mat. Press back up into tabletop position. From here, keep your hips and your knees exactly where they are. Start to walk your hands to the top of your mat, lowering your chest and your forehead to the mat. For puppy pose. So your arms are active here, you're reaching through the hands. You should feel a stretch along your shoulders. If this is too easy for you, bring your chin onto the mat. Okay, but stop wherever you feel the most comfortable. This is an extreme stretch, so you want to move very mindfully here. And then slowly start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders for tabletop position. Walk your knees back, tuck the toes, lift the hips, lift the knees for downward facing dog. Make this a fidgety down dog. Pedal out your feet. Find any movement that feels good. If you like to dip a shoulder towards the center of the mat. Another variation of fidgety movements, you can take your right hand to your left thigh and twist, and then come back to center. Left hand to the right thigh and twist, and then coming back to center. Whatever feels good to you. All right, let's find some stillness. Find our shape here. Body's in the shape of an upside down letter V. Hips make the highest point. Gaze is at your feet. Chest is pressing back towards your thighs. All 10 fingers are pressing into the mat and your arms are straight. Inhale. Exhale, take a child's pose. Knees to the mat as wide as your mat. Hips to heels, untuck the toes. Forehead comes down for child's pose. If at any point in the practice you want to take a break, this is the pose to come to. Inhale, look up at your hands. Slide your belly forward into baby cobra. Lifting your chest and sternum an inch or two off of the mat. Hugging the elbows around your rib cage, pointing them up towards the ceiling. Lower the forehead down. Next, inhale, straighten the arms for full cobra. Hips are heavy. Arms are straight, but there's a small bend in the elbows. Neck is long. Lower the forehead down. Press your hips back through child's pose. Tuck the toes, lift up into downward facing dog. We're taking 3 down dog waves here. So inhale, round the back, pull forward to the top of a push-up plank. Exhale, bend the knees, lift up, down dog. Inhale, round the back, pull forward plank. Exhale, down dog. Last one, inhale, pull forward plank. Exhale, down dog. This time, pull forward plank. We're doing something different here. Lower all the way to your belly on a 3 count. 1, 2, 3, all the way down. Inhale, full cobra. Exhale, lower down. Press your hips back through child's pose. Tuck the toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Adding on to that, pull forward plank pose. This time, lower the knees down. Not doing chaturanga, we're doing 8-point pose instead. So bend the elbows, lower your chin and chest to the mat. Hands are on the mat, elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling for 8-point pose. And then on your next inhale, slide forward, baby cobra. Super easy transition. Lower the forehead down. Inhale, full cobra, straighten the arms. Tuck the toes, lift up, down dog. Come high into your tiptoes and slowly make your way to the top of your mat. Slowly tiptoe, maybe crossing at the ankles. And then bring your feet hip width distance apart. Bend the knees, rest your belly onto your thighs. Grab opposite elbows and just sway your upper body from side to side, letting any tension go. Find some stillness here. Shift your weight towards your toes. Feel the weight and the toes helping you just keep your balance as you lean forward. And then shift your weight back to your heels. And shift your weight forward. Shift your weight back. Release the elbows. Place a bigger bend in the knees as you roll up to stand, bone by bone. Your head is the last thing to come up. And as always, fix your pants, fix your shirt. That's usually the time where everything gets off. Never mind. And separate heart center. Inhale, reach the arms forward, up and back. Watch the palms touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips lower down to the mat. Step your left foot back, low lunge. Back knee will tap down and lift. So gently tap it down and lift. Tap it down and lift. Tap it down, keep it down. Sink your hips forward. Let the knee come past your ankle for rocking pyramids. Exhale, rock back. Back hips are in line with the back heel. Front leg is straight. Toes are pointing towards your face. And your hips stay square. So you're not leaning to one side. Your hips are facing the top of your mat. Inhale, come forward. Sink your hips, lift your chest. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, rock back. Rebend the front knee. Lower the fingertips down. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee up. Then lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. Twist. Guitar swing this arm. And by guitar swing, I just mean circle it to the top 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then circle it back. 1, 2, and 3. Look up at that right hand. Lower it down to the mat. Palms are flat. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, slide forward into baby cobra. Exhale, forehead comes down. Inhale, full cobra. Pull your heart through your shoulders here. And exhale, forehead comes down. Press your hips back through child's pose. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg straight up and back, 3-point dog. On the exhale, pull the knee in towards your chest. Step the foot in between your hands. Grab and drag it if you have to. Back knee lowers down. Untuck the back toes. Sink your hips. Reach your arms up and back. Crescent lunge. Lower the hands down to the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Step up into a forward fold. And again, your knees can stay bent here. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fingertips come down. Step the right foot back. Low lunge. Back knee, tap it down. Lift it up. Tap it down. Lift it up. Last one, tap it down. Leave it down. Rocking pyramids, round 2. Sink your hips, lift your chest. Let the knee come past the ankle. Now as you rock your hips back, straighten the front leg, peel the toes towards your face. Keep your hips squared. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, rock back. Rebend the front knee. Lift the back knee up, coming back into a low lunge. Extend the left arm up towards the ceiling. Look up at that left hand. You can come onto fingertips of the right hand if it helps. And then circle this top arm to the top edge of your mat 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And then circle it to the back. 1, 2, and 3. Left arm reaches up. Look up at that left hand. And then lower this hand down to the mat. Palms are flat. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, plank pose, top of a push-up. Lower your knees down. Lower your chest and chin down, 8-point pose. Inhale, slide forward, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead down. This time we're doing something different. Take your fingertips off of your mat to the side. Point the elbows up towards the ceiling. Press into your fingertips, straighten up for wide arm cobra. And then lower the forehead down. Bring your hands back by your rib cage. Press your hips back through child's pose. Lift up into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg straight up and back, 3-point dog. As you exhale, left knee to your nose. Step the foot in between your hands. Grab and drag it if you have to. Back knee lowers down. Untuck the back toes. Sink your hips forward as you reach your arms up and back for a crescent lunge. And then lower the hands down to the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Step up into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your back halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms forward, up and back. Try to arch your back here. Exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Hands to prayer at heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Arch your back a little bit more. Exhale, bend the knees. Arms are by your ears, palms facing each other for chair pose. So your knees are bent. Weight is in your heels. Belly's pulling up and in. And this is everyone's favorite pose. Just kidding, maybe not everyone. Chair pose is a little awkward here because we're in this like half squat and arms over our head. Sink a little bit more into your chair pose. And inhale, straighten, watch the palms touch overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips down to the mat. Step your left foot back. Lower the heel down. So now your foot is on an angle. So your toes are pointing to the top left corner of the room. And then rise up for warrior 1. So a few adjustments here. First, take your hands onto your hip. Pull the right hip back, left hip forward. If you feel any discomfort in your legs, widen out your stance from east to west. Right, rebend this front knee. Should look down and be able to see the big toe. So if your knee is caving inwards, just take your hand, push it out. All right, and then reach the arms back up overhead for your warrior 1 here. The pinky toe side of the back foot is pressing down into the mat. So you have a solid foundation here. You should start to feel the burn in your legs. Interlace your hands behind your lower back. Extend the knuckles down towards the mat as you lengthen through the arms. Inhale. Exhale, bow forward for humble warrior. Right shoulder grazes the inside of that right knee.
Crown of the head releases to the mat, and one day your pinkies will touch the ground behind your head. Maybe not today, maybe not in this lifetime. And then gently release, rising up back into warrior one. Inhale, exhale, hands lower down. Step back into downward facing dog. Shake it out. Lift the right leg straight up and back, 3-point dog. As you exhale, right knee pulls in. Step it in between your hands, back knee lowers down. Sink your hips, crescent lunge. This time, bend the elbows, grab opposite elbows, and lift your chest up a little bit more, lifting the elbows up toward the ceiling a little bit more. And release the elbows, lower the hands down, step up into a forward fold. Lengthen halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold, fingertips down, step the right foot back, low lunge, and then lower the heel down so the right toes are pointing to the top right corner of your mat. And then rise up into warrior one. And again, one side is going to feel a little funny, so check in, hands onto your hips, pull the left hip back, right hip forward. If your legs are feeling tight, take your stance a little bit wider. Rebend into this front knee, look down, make sure you can see the front big toe, and then reach the arms back up overhead. Find your breath. Breath in, breath out. Then interlace your hands behind your lower back, crossing the funny thumb on top, extending the arms here, inhale. As you exhale, bow forward. Left shoulder grazes the inside of the left knee. Crown of the head reaches to the mat. Arms are reaching up and over, and one day your fingers will touch the ground. Inhale, rise back up. Warrior one. Lower the hands down to the mat, flat. Step back into downward facing dog. Shake it out. And then lift the left leg straight up and back, 3-point dog. As you exhale, left knee pulls in. Step the foot in between your hands. Grab and drag it if you have to. Back knee lowers down. Untuck the back toes. Sink your hips. Reach your arms up and back for crescent lunge. And this time, bend the elbows out. So 90-degree angles. And then just glitter fingers rolling down. Like if there's a wall behind you and you want your hands to touch that wall. So bend the elbows, glitter fingers coming down. Give me 2 more. Reach the arms up. Inhale. Glitter fingers. One more time. Reach the arms up. Glitter fingers. Awesome. Lower the hands down to the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Step up. Forward fold. Inhale. Lengthen your back halfway. Exhale. Fold. Inhale. Rise all the way up to stand. Watch the palms touch. Small back bend here. Exhale. Chair pose. We're back to it. Find your shape here. I invite you to sink a little bit more into this chair pose. Sink a little more. Sink a little more. And hey, cat. Lower your bum all the way down. Watch out for any felines. And we're sitting for a moment. Kitty, what do you think? Okay. So come to the top of your mat. 2 fists with distance in between your knees here. Tuck your toes so you're sitting on your heels. If your knees are sensitive and this is too uncomfortable, fold the top of your mat, or if you have a light blanket, just fold it once. Kitty's not having it. And then you have this extra cushion under your knees. We're going to be on our knees, so that's why I mention it. So 2 fists width distance between your knees, sitting on your heels. Watch me first. I'm going to show you what this sequence looks like so that when you do it, you know what to go for. We're on the dancing camels sequence, and there are different dances that we're going to get through. The first dance, we'll start with our hands in our imaginary back pockets. Left arm will come forward, around and back as our hips rise up and thrust forward. Upper body's leaning back.
first on an angle and then straight back. We're gonna go on each side. So this is what it looks like. Starting with my left arm, inhale. Exhale, coming back down the same way I went up. And the same thing on the other side. Exhale. So if you notice, I'm going on an angle to then square off to the ceiling and then reversing that direction as I come back down. So let's do it together. Starting with the right hand in our pocket. Left arm reaches forward, around and back. Inhale, thrust those hips. Exhale, come back down. Right arm, inhale, come around and up, thrust those hips. Exhale, come back down. One more time each side. Inhale. Exhale, come back down. Right arm, inhale, thrust those hips. Exhale, come back down. All right, the second dance is an option. You can stay doing the first dance. The second dance, we're deepening the back bend by lowering our hands to our heels. So same movement, only a deeper starting point. So it'll look like this. So you can try it, and if it feels like too much pressure on your back, just come up higher, bringing your hands onto your hips. So let's do it together, right hand to right side of the body, whatever option it is you're taking. Inhale, left arm comes around and back. Exhale, lower it down. Right arm, inhale, forward, around and back, square off to the ceiling. Exhale, come back down. Left arm, inhale, around and back. Exhale, come back down. Right arm, inhale, forward, around and back. Exhale, come back down. Awesome, doesn't that feel nice? So the last dance, we can untuck our toes, and that is the deepest back bend variation that we can do in this dancing camel sequence. So by eliminating this height here, we are opening up our chest up a little bit more. So you now have three options. You can stay here, or stay here. So I'm gonna try it with my toes untucked with you. Inhale, left arm comes forward, around and back. Thrust those hips. Exhale, come back down. So remember to thrust, that really helps you here. Inhale, thrust the hips. Square off the shoulders to the ceiling. Come back down. Awesome, hang on there. On this last round, we're coming into the full camel variation. It's going to look different for everybody, so don't let my back bend intimidate you. It took me about 6 years to get here, so it takes time, I understand. Your practice is your practice. So what that looks like, we'll move through the dance like we normally have, and then this arm that's lifted will come forward and then reach back for the other heel or the hip, whatever option it is you take. And then you have this full camel variation, and you're squaring off the shoulders are pointing towards the ceiling, and your hips are thrusting forward. And if you want to arch your upper back a little bit more, you can. And then coming back up very gently. So we're gonna do that on both sides. And like I said, untucked toes is a very deep variation. So if you wanna try with your toes tucked, or even if you just wanna go back to option one, be very gentle with yourself. So let's start right hand on the right heel or right side of the body. Left arm, inhale, forward, around and back. Thrust those hips, really thrust, thrust, thrust. Left arm comes forward, down and back for the left side of the body, whatever option it is you took. Square off the shoulders to the ceiling. Breathe, smile. Feel this opening feeling along your chest. And then gently tuck your chin to your chest, coming back down. Whew, it's always it's a euphoric sensation that I feel every time I do any back bending sequence. So let's do the other side. Left hand onto left heel or left body. Right arm reaches forward, around and back. Thrust those hips, inhale. And then reach this right arm forward, down and back for the right side. Thrusting the hips, squaring off the shoulders to the ceiling, smiling. And gently come back down. Whew. All right, make your way onto your belly. Forearms come down to the mat. Belly is down. Your elbow is right underneath your shoulder, so it's not out here and it's not here. Forearms are completely flat, elbows under the shoulders for Sphinx pose. Think about that Sphinx in Egypt, that statue, this beautiful statue. You want to kind of look like that. Bend the right knee, reach the right hand back for the big toe side of the foot. Try to draw this foot in towards your right heel so that you get this beautiful right thigh stretch. And if you can, point the elbow up towards the ceiling. You can stay here. If it's available to you, you can swivel the hand. So my hand right now is like this. You can swivel the hand so the fingers are in line with your toes and you're really like getting a nice press down here for this thigh stretch. And this is half frog pose. Gently release that foot. Right arm comes down. Bend the left knee, reach the left hand back for the foot, big toe side. Pull the foot in, elbow up towards the ceiling. You can stay here or again, swivel the hand so the toes are in line, the fingers are in line with the toes. Try to keep your shoulders squared to the top of the mat. And then gently release. Lower your forehead down to your forearms and just shimmy out the hips from side to side. All right, so from here, bend both knees. Reach the hands back for the pinky toe sides of the feet. Make sure you have a good grip here. Your thumb is facing down, okay? On your next inhale, kick your feet into your hands. So inhale, kicking the feet into the hands so you can lift your chest off of the mat for full bow pose. Really kicking, kicking, kicking. Keep that engagement so you can lift up higher. And gently release. Forehead to the mat, shimmy out the hips. Bring your hands on by your rib cage. Press your hips back through child's pose for a counter stretch. Bring your knees together to support your lower back. And just reconnect to your breathing here. All right, rise up. Bring your legs out in front of you. Keep them together and straight. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Don't worry about keeping length in your spine. Let your back round here and just reach forward. Let the weight of gravity just pull you forward. We're counter stretching all that back bending. And then walk yourself back up. Re-bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Rest your back onto the mat. Bring your heels close to your hips. If you've taken class with me, you know where we're going. Arms are by your sides, fingers are grazing the heels. Press into your hips, press into your heels, lift the hips for bridge pose. Option here is to take your hands like mittens and then rest your hips on your mittens. So your thumb is supporting the lower back and the forefingers are on the sides of your hips. And then gently release, lowering the hips gently down. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And then happy baby time. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Soles of the feet are pointing up towards the ceiling. Pull the knees in past your rib cage and gently rock from side to side, keeping your tailbone heavy towards the mat here. Rock to the right. Extend the left leg so your legs look like a check mark. Check because you did this class. And rock back to center, rock to the left, straighten the right leg. And then come back to center, release the feet to the mat, extend the arms out to the sides, bump your hips to the right, knees fall over to the left, looking up towards the ceiling or away from your knees.
for a beautiful spinal twist. And come back to center. Bump your hips to the left, knees fall over to the right, looking up towards the ceiling or away from your knees. And then come back to center. Extend the legs out onto the mat. Arms by your sides for Savasana. You can rest your hands also onto your belly if you like that point of contact. So I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already done so. We'll take a cleansing breath together, and then we'll inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. So all together on my cue, take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill your lungs with all the air you possibly can draw in, and then exhale out the mouth. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. These next few moments of class are for you to find some peace in your day and some light in your heart. I will draw you out of the Savasana in just a few moments, so enjoy this moment for yourself. Start to deepen your breath. Listen to the sounds around you, those furthest away from you, and those closest to you. Roll over to your favorite side, coming into a fetal position, hanging onto your Savasana for just a moment longer. Take this moment to notice how you feel after your practice of yoga. Send yourself some honor and light for showing up today on your mat and for putting in the effort. Come up to a comfortable seat on your mat, bowing your chin to your chest, hands coming to prayer at heart center. I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you today through your practice. With all the love and light in my heart, I bow to you and say, Namaste. Thanks, everybody.